Hey guys, I'm Dan Wolf. Welcome back to the channel. Today, you guys know that Under a Rock is like on my top of the top of want lists. This is staying on the top of our radar, but Dan, their executive art director, you can follow him on Twitter and I'll link his stuff down below. Put on Discord, I'll link that too. The devs are super engaging. Even on Discord, usually, typically at least once a day, they're on there engaging and interacting with the fans and answering questions and posting screenshots. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I want to know more about this game, head over to their Discord. It's going to take you a while to go through a lot of what they've already shown. So there is a plethora of shared information on there, and that is actually where we're getting this from. Dan actually did a concept art dump from their concept artist Diego Candia on the Discord, and there actually is in the promotional assets section, there's a concept art tab. Click on that, and that is where you will find these. And this is pretty freaking interesting. And they do go on to say, though, not all of what they're showing here is representative of what will finally make it in the game. Like this first one, we'll go ahead and dive into it. We have no indication that you can actually ride like these bumblebees, wasps yet, but nonetheless, this piece of concept art is pretty freaking cool. Really shows the scale of these bees, and from what I've seen, it seems like this is going to be, as far as getting to, it seems like we're going to interact with these guys because we're going to need their honey. And a lot of times it seems like their honey is like protected in different little coves and little tunnels that we'll have to get back in. But I don't know, with this piece of concept art, it looks like they might be tooling with the idea of being able to tame these guys and actually ride them in flight. So I don't know how high up off the ground we'll be able to go, or kind of what they're thinking about this, but I think this is very interesting when it comes to mounts. Now we know, if you see the little fluffies, we know that we've seen actual in-game shots of them having saddles on their backs, like the larger, almost like bunny rabbit creatures you see jumping around in some of these videos. They have like a turtle shell saddle. So mounts, I will go out on a limb and say 100% is going to be a thing. Are the wasps and bees, are they going to be a thing as far as being able to ride them? We don't know yet. They've not confirmed anything as far as that goes. Next up, they've got some mysterious kind of rock work ruins, almost like in I want to say like a swampy, mysterious biome. Almost even looks like it could be like a weird portal. But yeah, you just see the very overgrown vegetation, the vines, the water, the lily pads. Our little explorer down here in the bottom right-hand corner with his little pack on. Very interesting. We've got looks like some regular type birds. I'm not sure, maybe those will be, eventually in game will make it, like some ambient type creatures, which I have said, actually in the Discord and talking to some of the people that are interested in this game. That's one of the biggest things I think for me is I love when you're exploring, and these type of survivor games, there's a lot of walking involved, a lot of walking through the biomes, the deserts, the swamps, the mountains. And one of the things that I think always sets these type of games apart is when there is ambient fluid going on. If there's birds, if there's little weird squirrels, if there, we don't want to just run through woods and that be it. Like Sons of the Forest is doing a pretty good job on that right now. The forest can still be a little bit devoid of life, in my opinion, but they've definitely stepped up their game as far as the rabbits and the squirrels and the deer. That's what I would say to the Under a Rock developers. Make sure the biomes and the mundane tasks of going out and looking for supplies, looking for wood, looking for water, stuff like that. Make it lively. Give these forests actually interesting focal points for us to just run by. You wouldn't believe how much it makes a difference when you're not just running through foliage. And I don't know, we'll have to kind of see how it goes. But a very interesting little shot right there with some ancient looking ruins and portals. Up next, this is back from October. They are actually definitely gonna, it looks like they're definitely considering seasons in Under a Rock. So this is, we've got our little like witch's boiling pot there. We've got all kinds of little skull, hanging figures. We've got like a little bee up there with a mask on. We've got the pumpkins. We've got some kind of creepy little scarecrow back there in a graveyard. We've got the really cool windmill you see way back there in the back. So that is gonna, we got the dodo right up front with his little mask on. That's gonna be interesting if Under a Rock goes with dynamic type events, like different things happening throughout the year, with Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, just all of that stuff. I think that will definitely help keep the game fresh. And when those limited time content drops happen where they kind of make some changes to the world, that I think could be really fun. And two, I think it would also be fun if this stuff is readily craftable. Like, okay, say you just want to go in one day and you want to build a haunted village, like maybe that's just your thing. I would hate for it to be gated up for only the fall. Like, I think if you want to make like a really creepy settlement, I think you should be able to do that whenever you want, as far as the modular pieces go. Like we see here with the pumpkins and the creepy candles and the skulls, like that, and the tombstones, creepy fencing. I think that would be really, really cool if you're not just gate kept for different seasons, but if you want to build this stuff, in the middle of summer, you can. So it's just a really interesting screenshot. And, they had some Christmas stuff back a couple months ago they showed as well. So I definitely think that is going to be a thing. Moving on next, very, very interesting piece of creepy concept art with this massive mountain skull with the sharp teeth. It definitely seems like something that is, if you're brave, it's begging to be explored. And, I noticed somebody asked Dan on Twitter yesterday when he was showing off his barbecue getting rained on. They said, what is, something about the mountains in the background that you can see when the lightning flashes. And Dan said, what did Dan say? He said something to the effect of, there's something back there. Hold on. I've got his feed pulled up, and it was really funny. I think that's what oh yes. Cody Asian said, oh man, I love the sounds. Can we talk about the awesome view? And Dan said, think there's something scary in those misty mountains. So definitely, I think we're gonna have some fun, creepy, interesting, scary areas to explore when you're in these procedural generated worlds. And that's another thing that's so fun about this. And you can even see maybe almost like a bat type of holes in the side of the mountain there. Maybe the bats are, which we haven't seen bats yet, I don't believe. But that's kind of interesting and creepy, and almost have like a waterfall coming out of the mouth. I guarantee we will have some kind of mountain like that, some kind of creepy mountain like that we are going to have to go in and explore. But that is just such a fun concept, and it shows, it almost just conveys the vastness of where we're going to be exploring. And that was my other point. If you haven't been keeping up with this game, all of the worlds, they're procedurally generated. So Dan and the producers, they're finding weird things all the time when they're having these worlds created. And one of the things is, a lot of people ask them about what the size of the world is. And one of the interesting answers they've gotten are they can make the worlds, using Unreal Engine, absolutely huge. But their biggest focus right now is making the worlds feel alive. And I think that's what is so cool about Dan sharing this stuff with us. It was kind of like Jonty said way back in the day, as far as like open world games go. You don't want your open world game as wide as an ocean, but as deep as a puddle. And Dan and them were kind of alluding to the fact of, yes, we can make the worlds massive, but we want the worlds to feel alive. And, we just, and they were also talking about loading times as well. Like some of their largest maps that they were creating were taking, a long time to actually load up. And they were saying they're trying to get that sweet spot of, large, massive worlds to explore, but you're not sitting there for 15 minutes waiting for one map to load. They said they can't have that either. So it's, they like they were mentioning, it's definitely a balancing act to giving us large worlds, but, making sure a plethora of hardware can handle it. And also, you're not sitting there for 20 minutes trying to load into the world. But, as far as hardware goes too, that a lot of them have mentioned the Unreal 5 engine and the nanite technology, with the cutting down on the the way they use triangles now. What these guys have figured out, it's definitely making it easier on a broader array of systems to come in and start enjoying games like this and not having to worry about, oh man, is my rig gonna be able to handle this? So very interesting stuff. Up next, they've got some of our little explorers, and they've got this mysterious little under a rock token pendant necklace that they're wearing, and we've seen that actually transition to in-game as well. So very, very neat. And I have been a big fan of their leather work that Dan and them are doing. It looks so freaking pristine and just awesome. And, her little suspenders, and very, very cool on that. And, they're even, I'm assuming they've got some concept art of her and her undergarments and the little dude too. I'm assuming maybe you start like that, and clothes may be a thing you have to, armor and things are things you have to work up to and find. We don't know any of the story as far as how you're going to end up in this land, or kind of what really the whole backstory of that is. Then they've got their little dodos, which obviously they are, you've seen in some of the actual in-game pieces where he's got his little wood armor on, but in this particular piece of concept, he's got a turtle shell on for protection. So that is very, very neat. Your little pets and your little mountable characters, you're going to be able to put armor on them as well, which I think is such a fun, cool little twist. Then we've got the creepy little crab guys. Those are really, really fun design. Love the accentuated eyes. It almost looks like this guy has like a little goatee going on with his little tooth sticking out. Probably not with the way these are kind of being portrayed, I don't think there's necessarily is not going to be friendliest of little creatures that we'll come across in the world. And then we've got the newly released little Schnuggets. It's basically this is a cat, a walrus, and a beaver all put together. And we've seen in some of the videos that Dan puts out, I think these little guys will be companions because one of them is actually following Dan through a field as he's kind of making his way through this meadow. So that is really, really cool. Then we've got our wasps, our little hybrid wasp honeybee creatures. And looks like they've got little lights on their little antennas. So that's going to be pretty cool. Like if you're riding one, if we get to ride one and you're exploring through caves, and looks like you won't have to have your torch out because these guys have built-in little lights. And I think that goes back to what I was saying as far as the mounts go and going into caves. I think these guys live in caves. That's where their little homes are, their little nests. So that's pretty interesting. Up next, we've got the creepy little snail. I'm sure we'll see these guys slugging around all over the place. This one's got some crystals growing on his back and looks like some little crustaceans. So looks like this guy's been out in the jungle for a while. Then they kind of finish up here with some backpack shots, and it looks like we'll have a journal that we'll be able to pull out. And then one of the most interesting things to me too, as far as customization goes, they've got some sketches out of some of the different furniture you're going to be able to put in your house. So right now it's very, very jungle-ish, very wood focused. I don't know if eventually we'll get different styles of furniture like outside of the jungle theme, but what they've showed off so far, the art style is just freaking awesome. After that, we come up to some ruins. We've got some different styles of concept art that they've come up with, some broken pieces, some pieces with a torch in it, and those look absolutely incredible. Be interesting to see how those translate into the actual engine. Very, very cool on that. And then we finish up with the armor, some of the wood armor that you can see on the character. Looks like he's got a little flask over in his backpack, and he's got that just awesome leather look. Got a little bit of gruff there, and even on some of the wood armor, you can see there's some branches and some little sproutlets sprouting out of his armor. I think that's really cool. He's got the greaves, he's got the thigh shields, got the helmet on. Very, very, very cool. And then we've got some of our larger creatures that you've seen in some of the gameplay. And those guys, they've kind of got like I don't want to say a menacing look, but I think that's going to be one of those creatures where you don't want to, you're not just going to run up on them playfully, kind of like you would the dodos or the snails or the snuggets. These guys are seem like some of the larger, more dangerous inhabitants of the world. So yeah, definitely may want to keep your distance from them. But yeah, guys, I didn't want to windbag you here and just keep you here forever. But if you guys are interested in this game, definitely go and wishlist them on Steam and follow us on the Discord and subscribe to keep up with some more of this Under a Rock mischief that we're in. It's a game that I check in on every day, and it's so cool that this is the Nordic Trolls. It's kind of like an indie dev team, and they're just so much more just kind of like in tune with their community that they're cultivating than some of the larger AAA studios that kind of never share anything unless it's with IGN or they're getting ready to drop a trailer. These guys are very, very fun to follow, and I'm just so glad that we've caught wind of this game and that it's still going strong and being developed. So yeah, come join us on the Discord. Like I said, I'll link all that down below, and don't forget to like this video if you think I deserve it, and leave your questions down below. A lot of times the devs will come in on our videos, and you might get an actual Under a Rock dev respond to you about some of your questions on this game. So yeah, I'm S. Wolf. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.